Sonny Donnelly, IFL TV in association with MGM Marbella. I'm here at the O2 Arena today for the Haye versus De Mori press conference. Mark, it's been announced, it's probably your biggest fight to date. How are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I am. And as I said, my biggest fight to date, easily. I mean, 100 times bigger than my other fights. Biggest fight of my life, not the biggest fight of David Hay's life, and I think that's a pretty important thing because he's probably looking forward to getting back in the ring and doing a training camp and seeing how he goes, whereas for me this is everything. This is make or break, so I think there's a lot more desire on my side to win this fight and to train hard, and maybe he just sort of sees it as a stepping stone, but for me it's everything.
Your 30 wins, 1 loss. I mean, if you do beat David, there would have been bigger shocks in boxing. Your record is good up to date. Have you been keeping active?
Yeah, look, I've had 2 fights this year, and unfortunately I haven't had any big fights. There's been a lot of maybe possibilities, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. I got really sick of waiting, so I've just taken fights to keep in the ring and keep my ranking, and I'm glad I did because, you know, so many times I thought, what am I doing? There's no big fights happening, it's always so close to nothing, and then this one happened, so it's been perfect timing.
So how did you get into boxing?
Just as a kid, I think I saw some tapes that my grandfather had of Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tyson, and started following Tyson's comeback. And then my dad had a little bit of boxing experience as a kid, so we used to put some gloves on and get in the lounge room and try and beat each other up. And it wasn't him teaching me; we were fighting it, and we really fought hard. And, you know, he's a dirty fighter, and he would use his shoulder, use his head, use his elbow, and that's how I learned. So,
what was your mum saying when this was going on?
Well, she had gone to sleep. We didn't let her sleep.
Okay.
So my brother, myself, and my dad we still train together. We box together. My dad's older now, so he doesn't box with us. But as kids, whether it was wrestling or boxing, my dad had a pretty simple way of competing. You never, ever give up. And you can fight as dirty as you want, don't complain, get on with it, never quit.
It's a good mentality to have, I guess.
Yeah.
What are you expecting from David? Obviously he's been inactive for a few years now. It's his big comeback here at the O2 in London, his hometown. The odds are stacked against you, regardless of your record. How does that affect you?
Look, he's probably going to try some new things. He's got a new trainer, but once you get a little bit of fatigue or you take a big punch, you revert back to what you know. And he's been the same fighter for a very long time. It's been very effective, but he's got his style. And you know, after a few punches, I think he's going to revert back to what he knows best, and that's jabbing, looking for explosive counter punches, head movement, being agile around the ring, and it's up to me to just get in close and pressure him. And you know, with my kind of power, anything can happen. And like David Hay's been knocked down by a guy called Lolenga Mock, who's really a super middleweight, and he got hurt badly in that fight. He's been down other times, and I'm probably 110 kilograms when I step in the ring. I've got a lot of power, and that's the thing I love about boxing. It's not always like a football game where skill is always the winner. In boxing, it's purely a devastating punch can completely...
One punch can win it.
Look at your guy Harold Graham versus Julian Jackson.
Yeah, or quite recently Andy Lee. He's on the ropes, just threw one shot,
exactly.
And the 1 punch knockout.
That kind of power changes everything. You can have me 1,000,000 to 1 underdog, you can dissect my record, you can write statistical analysis, and once that first bell goes and I land a power punch, you can rip all those sheets up and say goodbye, because if I hit him with my kind of power, yes, he's a very good boxer, but he's been put down by guys much smaller than me, much less powerful than me, and that's why this fight, I think, is really interesting, because David Haye is excellent, but he's also vulnerable. He's coming back from injury, he's been put down before, he's had a shoulder reconstruction, so you know, it's up to me to test what he's got left.
Speak me through your sort of training arrangements and how it happens, because obviously people can't tell from your accent. You are from Australia, but you are based in Croatia. How does that work?
I've lived in Croatia for about 2.5 years, and it's been really good because in Australia, you know, it's an expensive place to live, and couldn't really box full time the way I wanted. In Croatia, I've got a really good setup. My coach, he was a two-time Olympian and now is the national coach in Croatia helping me. And I've got my own private gym. I've got a life where I train and sleep and train and sleep. And anyone that's ever tried to be an athlete knows what a luxury that is and what a difference in performance you can have when you don't have to focus on so many other things.
This weekend, till today, there was the final press conference, but this weekend, the biggest fight for a long time, I'd say, in your weight category, Klitschko versus Fury. Can you see Fury doing it, or do you think Klitschko will just stick to his jab like he always does? And
Klitschko is obviously the best for a reason, but I got to spend a little bit of time with the team Fury in France a couple of years ago, I can't remember, and one thing that amazed me about Tyson Fury, he was quite fat at that time because he had about a year off, I think, but that guy's stamina is ridiculous. The way that big guy who's carrying all that body fat could run and box, it's something really, really unique for a guy that size. So I think if he fights to his potential, it's going to be really interesting. He's often concerned with being a showman, and obviously that's why he's a big name, and that's helped, but he's running around in the Batman suit and he's doing things, and that's great for the show, but at some point, if he can really just go, okay, show's over, now it's time for me to show what I'm capable of, I think Klitschko is going to have a really tough night.
well, we'll find out.
Yep.
Domestically, in the heavyweight division over here in England, I don't know if you've seen much of them, Anthony Joshua versus Whyte. The odds are stacked against Dillian due to Anthony Joshua's 13 wins, 13 knockout thing. Do you think that will carry on against Whyte, or do you think Whyte can do the job?
I've heard of Whyte, I haven't watched a lot of him, but I've watched Joshua. I mean, physically the guy looks like a masterpiece. He's fought some good, strong, tough journeymen and he's absolutely destroyed them. So, I mean, you just cannot fault anything about Joshua's career so far. You know, he's been put against some really tough journeymen that are supposed to take him the distance, and he's just walked through them like, you know, a knife through butter, and I think that's going to continue.
Well, we'll find out on December the 12th, but more importantly for you, it's all about January here at the O2.
Yep.
Are you going to bring many fans over?
Look, I know people from Australia and Croatia. There was rumour that I was going to fight Haye. They were already messaging me, we're coming, we're going to come over, we can't wait, and we're going to support you. So that's great, but once I get in that ring, whether I've got the whole crowd behind me like Haye does, or whether I've got 2 family members, it doesn't matter. You know? I actually enjoy being the visitor. I enjoy being the villain, the bad guy, the one that's not supposed to do
the underdog.
Underdog, good guy, bad guy, whatever. Just give me the opportunity to not worry about the show, not worry about the crowd, not care about the promotion, just fight.
Well, you've got that opportunity come January. Best of luck in your training camp and best of luck on the night. I'm sure I'll catch up with you before then. But until then, Mark, thank you for talking to IFL TV. Thank you.